So what is the difference between free will versus divine will? And how can you know when you're in alignment with either one and where you're actually coming from and making decisions from? And why is divine will the key to everything in your life and ultimately your happiness, your true fulfillment, and for you to realize the full power that resides inside of you? Hello, my name is Zimmaron, and thank you so much for consuming this content in whatever format that you are. I am a spiritual teacher, a breakthrough specialist, transformation coach, whatever you want to call me, really doesn't matter. But I teach people how to fully empower themselves through the sacred art of going within. Because your whole entire existence is determined by what is going on inside of you, how you interpret the things that happen, how you react. All of that is based on conditioning and programs and abuse and trauma and all sorts of things that have happened in your life and that you took on as a part of your unique set of circumstances and life lessons. Now, that word, life lessons, is really the key foundation to this topic of free will versus divine will. Because free will is a mechanism that exists in this earthly realm, this third dimensional experience that we are having. And the reason why it exists is because it's the single greatest and fastest way for you to learn your lessons, right? Because if you keep making bad choices, eventually the reaction and the response and the things that happen to you in your life due to those poor choices will hopefully force you to change. And so once you learn that lesson, then you don't have to repeat it any longer. And the reason why that mechanism is in place is because as souls, as these greater beings that we are, and I'm going to get a little bit philosophical here because it's the truth. Okay, you're not your physical body, right? Your physical body is just an avatar. Just like in a computer game, it's just a character that your soul has taken on, and you happen to be experiencing yourself in this computer game, in this metaverse, as that character. And you believe that you are that character. And you sort of are, but you're sort of not. And that's the whole point, that you believe it, right? Because that's what makes it real. And free will is what makes it real. It gives you the power to make whatever choices you want and to be able to learn your lessons quickly and super fast. One would think, right? One would think. But, humans, are a bit of a glutton for punishment, right? We like to repeat and do things that are not good for us, and we have all these addictions and all these problems and all these conditions and programs and things that are unhealthy and not working for our benefit. But they are conditions, they are programs, they are things that you weren't born with. They are things that you acquired from your parents, your primary caregivers, from society and all the dysfunction that has become our reality over time. Now, that was also by design. That also, everything happened for a reason. But the point is that free will is a mechanism to make this reality more real and to give us the opportunity to learn our lessons quickly and efficiently, and to make choices for ourselves in order to live, hopefully, a happier and better life. And there's no rules other than that. Really, at the end of the day, well, it's sort of not true, because every single action that we take in this reality or in any aspect of creation has a reaction to it, right? It impacts something else. And if you impact something in a negative way, there'll be a negative reaction that will come back. And some people will say that's karma and thwack and all of that. But then some people will say, but that's not true, because there are certain people that are doing really, really bad things and they're not changing. They're not getting caught. And it seems like they're getting away with murder. And that's still illusion. That's not correct. And in order for someone to do something non-loving, you have to lower your vibration to that level. And so if you're lowering your vibration to that level, then you can only attract that vibration back at you, and things that are commensurate with that vibration back into you. And so even if it doesn't impact you in this lifetime, it will impact you in your next lifetime, because maybe you'll come back as a frog. You know what I mean? You might come back as a disadvantaged, decrepit, disease-ridden person. And you will get to experience the suffering that you inflicted on somebody else through that embodiment. That's not to say that every single person that's got a lot of challenges in their lives, that's all because in their past lives they were bad people, because truth be told, we've all done it. All of us have. We've all had all the different extremes of different experiences, because truth be told, at the end of the day, we're all one. It's all one. There is no separation. You are all of creation. From your perspective, you are all of creation. And you, as you raise your vibration, you will summon and invite more of who you truly are and who you were born to be into your physical experience, and it will grow and gain positive interest. But it only works with love, unconditional love. But I'm sort of digress here a little bit. But free will is that. So what is divine will? Okay, well, divine will is, interestingly enough, not what people think it is. It's not like every single soul has a specific... Once you're out of the lower vibrational realms, everything is just governed by love. In order for you to be in those realms, you're already in the experience of unconditional love. So your actions come from that place. All right? You still learn lessons and you still have experiences, which could be embodying into the lower dimensional realms and so forth. But ultimately, it's already governed by love. So divine will is nothing more than just realizing who you truly are and who you were born to be. That's what aligning with divine will is. It's realizing that we're all interconnected. It's becoming more compassionate, more empathic. It's dropping victim consciousness. It's being fully empowered from the inside out. It's no longer living from a place of fear. It's a letting go of the drama and the illusion that's around you and not allowing it to impact you, because this is just an experience. It's neither good nor bad. It's just an experience. But you can make this experience be whatever you want it to be. It could be the greatest thing in the whole wide world. You could be having everything that you could ever want and create and be living the most glamorous lifestyle, or you could be living a very, very humble life. It actually, at the end of the day, doesn't matter as long as it's in alignment with you, right? So if you're in the experience of true unconditional love, then you actually won't create things that you don't want to. You won't actually create things that have a negative impact in the world, because it's actually not, you can't. It's not possible. It's not possible. So to me, divine will is unconditional love, period. And that's how you align with it. And when you align with it and you're raising your vibration and you're summoning more of who you are, then that expression, that unique expression of God, of the quantum field, of your higher self, of your soul, will naturally gravitate and manifest and create and be guided to manifest things that are unique to your embodiment. So if you're meant to be the greatest artist in the whole wide world, then art will be what you will gravitate towards. If you're meant to be the best business person in the whole world, you'll create a business. If you're meant to be greatest parent, it doesn't really matter, because spirit in and of itself doesn't care about any of that. Spirit has like zero investment in the material realm, because it's just an illusion. It's just an illusion. Yeah, they're rooting for us, but it's still just an experience at the end of the day. And it's really more about the experience that's gained that is more from the higher realms. That's what they're invested in. So when people are wishing for the car and the babe and the vacation and all this excessive materialistic stuff, spirit just doesn't hear that. It doesn't compute. It's only when it's in alignment with what you're needing to have as a life lesson. Okay, so now here we go back to the main term that I spoke at the beginning. There are certain life lessons. There are certain experiences that you have chosen as a soul to have and to experience, because it's what you need, it's what you want, it's what will allow you to evolve more. And that is the reasoning for your unique set of circumstances in this embodiment. Which country you grew up in, which parents, what was their demographical, sociographical, geographical status, and what were all the environmental factors that they demonstrate. You chose that before you embodied. That's the reason for your embodiment. Literally. That's how you chose it. Based on the circumstance that would give you, or the embodiment that would give you the opportunity to learn the lessons and to evolve and to grow and to hopefully break out of the matrix, because that's really ultimately the whole point of the game in the first place, to break out of the matrix. That's it. To realize that you're one with everything, to realize that you are quite literally God. That's why it's called God realization or self-realization, illumination, enlightenment. All of those terminologies are really describing your mission and your purpose and the outcome, though it's not a destination. It's just a pit stop. It's an evolution. So there are certain life lessons that we all need to have. Some of them are predefined as part of your embodiment. Others you create as you go based on your choices, right? I do this, so therefore, because I made that particular choice, now I'm going to have to do something else in order to show that I'm going to make the right decision the next time around, if that makes sense. So the easiest way to say is that everything that happens to you is a lesson. It's a gift and a blessing, ultimately, because you're creating it, you're manifesting it, you chose it. And if you get the gift of it, you will receive the blessing, and that's why it's a gift and a blessing. And usually the blessing of it is that you won't need to recreate the same situation or circumstance over and over and over again. But it's impossible to do any of this if you're a victim. And most of humanity is a victim. They're blaming the outer world for all their problems, their family, their friends, society, the teachers, the politicians, and all of that. And when you're in that reality of the blame, victim consciousness reality, you are in the lower vibrational field. You are in the grip of separation, and you're still in the matrix. And until you break out of it and you're able to reframe your reality and how the universe works and understand that everything's all one and interconnected, you can't break free. It's not possible. Because once you understand that it's all you, then you're now fully empowered to change that, right? Because you start realizing, you know what? I can change everything in the outer reality through my inner reality, through how I choose to interact with it. And you'll notice that the more you do that, the more that you'll have synchronicities and blessings and miracles and out of the ordinary type things that has nothing to do with luck, because there's no such thing as luck. It's you. You have the power. You're God. And people get really tweaked when I say that. And I love it. I love it. Get tweaked. Because it's the truth. You are 100% God. Every aspect of you is God. And every aspect of all of your aggressors and the people that have caused you pain and suffering and harm are also equally God. And on a soul level, on a higher level, they agreed to helping you out by providing the lessons and the experiences that you needed in order to bring you to this place of hopefully being able to let go of all the pain, all the suffering, all the limitations, and to realize that none of it means anything. None of it has any power over you at all, and never will ever again, if you say so. And if you choose unconditional love in every single moment, that's it. That's how it all just works itself out. And if you're wise, you go within to interact with your higher self, your higher consciousness, your super consciousness, your God self, the quantum field, to work with you and on that, and to transform and accelerate everything that I'm talking about to make it easier? Why grind? Why hustle? Why beat on oneself? Why judge oneself? Why go blindly? Why stress about which coach to work with, or which teachers to work with, or which counselors, and all that stuff, when you can be guided? And I'm not saying not to use outside stuff. Absolutely, you have to. We're in this physical world, but be guided to them. What feels right, rather than spending hours trying to figure out what healer am I supposed to work with, or what coach is good for me. When you're in tune, instantly, or you'll be guided to them, or someone will just recommend somebody. You see, you instead of you being the driver in your life, the universe drives. And you know what you do? You just sit back, pop out, put your head out the window and go, yeah, what an awesome life. And you just go for the ride. Now, yes, you have to be proactive. Yes, you need to take action. But what I'm saying is, because action is critical. And I'm not saying that this is all easy. What I'm saying is that it gets easier. The more that you remove all the garbage that's limiting you and holding you back from realizing all that I say. And I'm saying realizing because there's a difference between realizing it and intellectually understanding it. I can't even tell you how much hell I've had to face and go through within myself, to the point of wanting to kill myself and slit my wrists, to the point of thinking and feeling like the universe wanted to kill me because I deserve to die because I'm such a bad human being. It wasn't because it was true. It was what I felt inside of me because of all the trauma, all the pain, all the programming and the guilt and the shame and all the mechanisms and craziness that I had taken on as a innocent, beautiful, innocent little boy that somehow got twisted into these self-negatives. And then you wonder why you have these thoughts of, oh, I'm not good enough, or I must be this, or I must be that. Why does this always happen to me? Is there something wrong with me? All of these sort of questions come from that level of self-hatred, of belief systems that are completely the antithesis of the truth. You see, you're not broken, you're not damaged, you never were, and you never will be. You just have a few programs that are in the way. And due to those programs, you've probably had some shitty experiences in life. And those have further reinforced it. And through those shitty experiences, you probably have a lot of emotions that are trapped in your body that need to come out and need to be released. And if you watch any of my videos about the emotional body, you'll hear what I'll say. Feel it. Feeling is healing. Give expression to the things that are coming up inside of you. Even the monkey mind, the crazy thoughts. If you just got a pen out and just scribbled until there was nothing more left to scribble, and then tossed it away, burnt it, ideally, and released it. If you just did that every single day, eventually the monkey mind would stop because there'd be nothing more for it to say. You will have given it expression. And not only that, you'll probably find that through writing and letting out everything that comes to you unfiltered will bring up emotions, right? Because it's all coming from trapped emotions. This is such cool stuff. When you see it and you understand it, it's so simple. And that's what people don't understand. And the coolest thing is that the most powerful tools and tactics that you can use to transform your life don't actually cost anything. They're free, and they don't cost you anything. You might have to pay to learn it from somebody, but once you've got it down, you can do anything you want. You can heal every aspect of yourself, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And you can actually do it better than the best that's out there. Why? Because you'd be working with the source of you. You'd be working with the one that knows you better than you know yourself. At least that's how I teach it. I teach you to defer everything to your higher self because it knows you. It knows your wounds. It knows your issues. It knows what circumstances and situations will help flush up whatever it is that needs to come up and needs to be worked out. And it's not always easy to face some of that stuff. But if you have the proper framework in your belief systems and you don't judge yourself, you'll fly through it quicker and quicker. And then over time, it goes away. It all disappears. And you'll feel peace. You'll feel love. But what you will see instantaneously as you implement these processes is massive transformations in your life. But eventually, you'll find that peace. Eventually, you'll be living from that truth. And no one can take that away from you because that's your natural state. Unconditional love is your natural state. And anything other than that was introduced into you. It's magical. It's amazing. It works 100% of the time. And it's the single fastest way. But a lot of people being taught to stuff everything down. Everyone wants the magic pill. No one wants to actually feel the emotions. No one actually really wants to deal with what is truly there because it's painful, it hurts, and who wants to feel that, right? But it's becoming harder and harder and harder not to. And that's the reason why the world looks the way that it does. And more, you're going to be forced to have to face it. Or you'll get very sick and probably leave the planet sooner than you would have otherwise. And it's not really probably, it's the truth, it's a fact. It's why we have so many mysterious illnesses. It's the reason why mental health, right? Mental health, anxiety and depression, is so all pervasive right now, is because everyone is fighting what's really going on inside of them and not necessarily making the right choices. Not for any other reason than they just don't know. And the conventional resources that we have available to us are not equipped because they're still coming at things from a very antiquated and old way, and a way that is not understanding what's really going on. Because when you don't incorporate the spiritual, then, and the spiritual is the source of everything, when you don't incorporate that into any aspect of reality, you will be trapped and you'll function only from the physical realm. And the physical realm is the lowest vibrational realm, and it's the densest plane of all of creation, and it's where all the lower frequencies reside. That's what makes it material, right? It's what makes it physical, because it's vibrating at a lower rate. You know, if I was shaking my hands like this, you know, if you look straight through, you can see straight through my hands, right? Because I'm vibrating at a high rate. If I'm not vibrating, you can't get through, right? It's sort of the simplest way to explain. That's how vibration works. That's why you can't perceive 99.99% of reality, is because it exists in a different dimension, a different frequency of vibration. It's the same as you can't see electricity, right? You can't see the radio waves, but they exist. That's why it's sort of foolish when people sort of knock spirituality and knock a lot of the spiritual concepts, because it's interesting that a lot of what the ancients have been teaching since the beginning of time, like the practice of meditation and certain spiritual concepts, have never been proven wrong or incorrect, and are only being validated. And the truisms, the true aspects of them that aren't corrupt and haven't been bastardized, are always going to remain true forever, because it's the ultimate truth. Yet science is constantly fumbling its way through its discoveries and things like that, because it's just based on theory, and it's contained within a very small aspect of reality. And it historically has not been open to more. However, now with the understanding of the quantum field and the quantum mechanics and epigenetics and a lot of the different newer sciences that have formed, and with the discovery of the God particle and things like that, more and more science is starting to prove what I have known and what a lot of other people have known, and certainly certain groups of people have known since the beginning of humanity. So free will is your ability to do whatever you want so that you can get the slaps in your face in the hopes that you will change and align with divine will, which is unconditional love. And at the end of the day, there are no rules, even within divine will. There are no rules within divine will, except love. Be loving at all costs. That's it. Unconditionally loving, of course. Love without conditions, for others and for yourself. Because if everything is all you and everything is God, well, why wouldn't you love everybody else too? Why wouldn't you accept their belief systems and what they are doing as being right for them? Who cares at the end of the day what other people do and don't do? As long as it doesn't impact me negatively. If it impacts me negatively, I'll say something or I'll remove myself. But I would much rather be a part of the positive change than to be buying into all that garbage and lowering my vibration and allowing it to impact me in a negative way. And it's not about being denial. I know that the most heinous, sickest things that you could ever possibly even imagine exists out in the world and is happening right now. But if I put all of my focus on that and I send that negative energy because I complain about it and bitch about it and all of that, then I'm contributing to that. I'm amplifying that. But if I send it love and compassion and understanding, and I focus on myself and on what I'm able to do to contribute more love, and that my energy that I'm putting into this reality is unconditional love, then I know that I'm changing that. Slowly but surely from the inside out, that's all changing. Because I'm contributing unconditional love to this world. And that's all. And ironically, my vibration rises. The more experiences that I have, the more that I'm able to tune into who I truly am and who I was born to be. The more grace that steps into my life, the more synchronicities, the more blessings. And for whatever reason, which is not for whatever reason. I just explained what that reason is. I'm having the time of my life. And it's not always easy, because I'm always asking for whatever non-love that's inside of me, whatever conditions, limitations, programs, things that are impacting me in a negative way. I'm always asking for it to be flushed up so that I can learn from it, so that I can transcend it, so that I can work with it and learn the lessons of it and start changing my interaction with the world and coming at it from a place of not make it go away, but what is this teaching me, so that I don't have to keep recreating the same lessons over and over. And that's why when people in their spiritual unfoldment, they're just wanting to evade all their life lessons, and they go into a place of denial of what's really inside of them, and they walk around with these fake smiles and these fake breathy voices to look how spiritual I am. You know, it's inauthentic. It's not authentic. It's okay. You're human. We all have shit. Sometimes it's really dark and despicable. We all have it. But it's okay. Especially when you release it in a healthy way that is not impacting other people in a negative way, and you're being responsible about it. So thank you so much for listening. This was my big diatribe on free will versus divine will. But the key takeaways is that free will is a mechanism that exists on this planet. Technically, it doesn't really exist, but for the sake of illustration, it does from our perspective in this realm. Okay. Divine will is unconditional love. Okay, that is how you know when you're aligned with divine will. It's when you're being loving and kind and all of that. Then you're aligning with the actual energy and vibration of all of creation, of yourself, the source of who you truly are. And that when you embody with a set of lessons, life lessons that you are meant to achieve and have and accomplish. And so when we live in denial of that and trying to avoid everything and trying to pacify our whole entire life, then you miss out on the greatest amount of transformation and growth that you can have. And then you're actually more destined to repeat it, right? And whether it's in this lifetime or coming back again in another lifetime to continue the process. Okay, you can't actually avoid anything. And unfortunately, a lot of the courses and the programs and the things that are being taught online are very much focused about avoiding, how to remove the triggers and all that. No, you don't want to remove the triggers. You want the triggers there so that you can deal with what's coming up. It's not about removing the triggers. It's about dealing with what's going on inside of you and getting it, the deep core emotion or emotions that are there. Because the more that you remove the triggers, you'll glide through life at a certain level, but you'll never, ever find happiness and fulfillment. And you'll be constantly chasing and having to deal with the next trigger, the next trigger, the next trigger, which is really just a subset of exactly the same issue. It's convoluted. It's truly convoluted. It's back to front, inside out. And there's that saying, what's the saying? The definition of of crazy or madness is doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's what that is. I'm going to keep removing this trigger. I'm going to keep removing that trigger. I'm going to be tapping away. I'm going to be doing this and doing handstands, and I'm going to eliminate the trigger. And in that way, in the moment, I will pacify what's going on inside of me so that I don't have to face it truly and deal with it truly. And why not use your superconscious self, your higher self, to do that for you and work with you on it. And in a way that's conducive to what's going on with you in your life, right? So that it has the greatest impact, but the least amount of negative impact to your life. You're in control. You're in control. You're God. So, join me for a free live reclaiming session where I start this process of teaching you how to connect with your higher self. And I actually remove and walk you through a process where you relinquish aspects of your free will so that your higher self can intervene more on your behalf. There's no greater work, no greater work, no greater work. Thank you.